I bet you all just went to check your mute button to see if there was something wrong with your audio. The reality is that we reference things in our lives all the time and make the proper adjustments. And just like you instinctually realize you needed to turn your volume up, you need to be able to figure out the adjustments you need to make in your mix in an instant. And that's why we're here today, to help you in the journey of truly understanding the power of reference. By the end of this video, you'll understand the proper steps needed to fine-tune your mix. I'll even throw in a tip for when all else fails. So what's happening, fam? Miami here with JST, and I truly think referencing is the key to perfecting a mix. Having the right catalog of reference songs is only the beginning in understanding referencing, but sometimes you have to take a step back, rewind, and pay close attention to what you're listening to. Speaking of which, let's rewind to the beginning of this video to see what was actually said. Hey guys, so make sure to hit that subscribe button to help us get to 50,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Make sure to also hit the like button and notification bell to be made aware of new content. Not gonna lie, some people were upset I didn't do a transition last video, but my transition game is still crazy. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm having one of those sleepless nights where I'm doing everything I can to get this reference right, and I'm tired. But I bet this topic is gonna wake me up. So let's get into it, my friends. The first step to referencing is extremely simple. It's gonna seem obvious, but it's overlooked by those that are starting out. Don't worry, for the advanced people, I got you. Stick around. But for now, we have to go over the basics. Referencing a song that makes sense. Like I said, this should be obvious, but a lot of the time people reference songs that have nothing to do with the projects that they're working on. You should make sure that you pin down the genre that you're working on so you can reference accordingly. A common thing people like to do is pull up a song that they like or are attached to, but does that truly make sense? You're mixing a song with a double bass, tons of synth and electronics, but you're referencing a song that has really roomy drums, minimal instruments, and a completely different vibe. Like, just because you like it. You always want to make sure that you're referencing adequately and it represents the type of music that you're working on so you can make your client happy. Also pay close attention to the type of tones that they're using. If it's a metal song with a British sounding amp like a JCM 800 or Orange amp, you're going to have a difficult time matching that if you're referencing using a 5150. The second step, finding the compromise between your client's reference and your own. When you're dealing with a project, it always makes sense to ask the band or artist who their favorite artists are and what they enjoy about those mixes. If they have an extremely clear view on how their mixes should sound, you should always make sure to respect their thoughts and opinion. But you have to be the judge on whether or not their reference is misplaced or not. If you feel like it is, it becomes your job to pull up references that you trust in the genre. Show it to the band and kind of see their thoughts and their opinions on it. You need to come to an agreement of the overall picture of the project before it's even begun. But make sure to set realistic expectations based on the band's ability and the tracks that you recorded or you're provided with. The third step, once you find the proper reference, it's time to properly gain stage. There's a plugin for this that's super slept on. I really like it. It's called Magic AB, and it's great for referencing tracks. You want to see the RMS and LUFS of this track. You know, to keep it simple, RMS is the sound level of the track, and LUFS is like the perceived sound level of the track. Both are important units of measure when comparing to another mix. Yes, each mix is different, and you know, they all have their own separate qualities, but this is a great way to gauge whether or not you're in the ballpark of where you're supposed to be on a loudness level. Step number 4. Leveling your buses to your reference. You're at the point now where you found your reference, you've gain matched it, and check the level, but it's time to check and see if your buses are at an adequate level, you know? Pay attention to what the main parts of the reference mix are. Are the vocals louder? Are the guitars wider? Are the drums pushed back, you know? This is gonna be the point in your referencing that determines how close it is that you get to the mix. A dB or 2 goes a long way at this point, so make sure to keep an eye on your master bus comp. If you have one, it's likely that it's gonna change. But also make sure to dial in what feels right on the faders. And if the band has any issues with this, I'm sure they're gonna let you know. Hopefully in an extremely positive way. And let's see, one more step of referencing. Step number 5, listening at a proper volume. One of the biggest issues people have is they love to listen to mixes extremely loud, myself included. But when you're blasting a mix, you can't actually tell the volume that the instruments are supposed to be at. You wanna grab an SPL meter and see what works best for you. You're gonna want a spot that you can audibly hear the bass and the mid-range. And that's typically between like 85 and 90 SPL.
So yeah, I don't know exactly how to show this right, but if I'm in my room and I'm playing a song and I'm talking at the volume I am, this is like the relative volume something would sound like. Like, it's still a pretty loud volume, you know? And this is about 85 SPL, so that kind of should give you an idea.
And remember one more thing. We need those ears for the rest of our lives. You know, it's our bread and butter. It's the reason that we're able to continue working. So make sure that we take care of them and not just listen to things at full volume all the time. At the SPL I recommended, it'll make sure that you guys don't need hearing aids when you're a little bit older, my friends. So let's go over all of these again one more time as far as referencing goes. Pinning down the genre. Compromising between your references and your client's references. Gain staging your references. Leveling your buses. Listening at a proper volume. If you only reference your own stuff, you know, it can be hard to be competitive if you aren't already a pro. And wait, earlier I said I would give you a tip for when all else fails. If all else fails from the steps that I said, it's time to go to the backup plan. Just EQ match the song, man. Like, hopefully you tracked or reamped with similar amps and used similar styled samples, but you'd be surprised how well this can work when you're in a pinch. At the end of the day, all we care about is how it sounds, and if a good blend of EQ matching is the ticket, I say to go for it. If you're an engineer on the come up, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, you only have to do it one time, and tap that bell for notifications so when a video drops, you know the location. Until next time, I am out of here. Mic drop. Except as engineers we know, I'd never really drop these things because they get really expensive even if they're both pieces of shurs. Later.